How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. This weekend, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith came out once again in theaters because the 20th anniversary is approaching. Actually, it's coming, the anniversary is May 19th. It came out that date back in 2005, but this weekend came out again in theaters. It's making a lot of money. Fans are excited because obviously this is one of the best Star Wars movies of all time, at least in my opinion. Not everyone's going to agree. But yeah, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, to me, this is one of my all time favorite Star Wars movies. This was directed by George Lucas. It was the last time George Lucas directed a Star Wars movie, starring Ian McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott. And also, this was the last live action Star Wars movie to come out before Disney bought Lucasfilm. I say live action because there was the 2008 animated Clone Wars movie that came out in theaters that we almost forget came out in theaters. But also, this is the first PG-13 Star Wars movie to also come out, and the last of the prequels. In fact, we thought for a while this was going to be the last Star Wars movie to ever come out. But basically, the Clone Wars has been going on for ages, a few years. Anakin's now a Jedi Knight. He's this well-respected Jedi warrior during the war. Although the Council still don't fully respect him or trust him, they save Chancellor Palpatine at the beginning from Dooku and Grievous. We get some glimpses of how close Anakin and Obi-Wan have become. I've never reviewed Attack of the Clones before, but if you recall Attack of the Clones, Anakin and Obi-Wan had a tense Jedi Knight mentorship, Padawan mentorship, basically. Even though Anakin loved Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan loved Anakin, there were some tense moments between the two of them. Here you can tell that their relationship has grown into best friends, even a brotherhood. Although we later see in the movie, and by the way, spoilers, this movie's been out for almost 20 years now, so spoilers. But even but yeah, as I was saying, towards the end we see Obi-Wan breaking down to tears saying, "You are my brother, Anakin. I love you." Kind of thing. But we've seen how close they are, and you can see why Obi-Wan in A New Hope reflects on Anakin as this cunning warrior and a very good friend. In Attack of the Clones, you might not have seen it, but here we see it. Also, the Clone Wars kind of shows that as well. But this was before the 2008 Clone Wars anime show came out, and not everyone's gonna follow the shows; they just follow the movies. But yeah, Anakin kills Dooku, saves the day, saves Palpatine, finds out he's gonna be a father. Padme's pregnant, but now he's having these visions of Padme dying, and there's some distrust with Palpatine that the Jedi Council has, and so Anakin's spying on Palpatine. He's on the council, but he doesn't get the rank of Jedi, and we have our movie. So this is the Star Wars movie that I probably rewatched the most times throughout the years. I probably rewatched this movie so many times. This was the movie that really made me fall in love with Star Wars. Whereas this is the one that I was like, oh wow, this is what Star Wars feels like. This feels so great. Obviously, it's the best of the prequels, and I'm not a prequels hater. I actually do enjoy the prequels, although some of the things in Attack of the Clones does come across as cringe to me. But I've enjoyed the prequels, and I'm glad that there's a better appreciation for them in the years since. Maybe it's because people soured on Disney Star Wars, or maybe they appreciated the vision that George Lucas had, because George Lucas did have this vision. Not sure what reason why. It could be a combination of both. But Revenge of the Sith is by far the best of the prequels. The acting's a lot better. Hayden Christensen's performance is a lot better in this one than Attack of the Clones. Some lines don't get pulled off as well. Well, some lines probably should not have been written, or maybe it was the way they were written. And for example, Anakin, while he's fighting Obi-Wan later on in the movie, he's like, "From my point of view, the Jedi are evil." It's like he just sounds like an internet troll nowadays, like an internet troll arguing about their point of view, like this side's evil or that political party's evil. Well, that's kind of what it just sounds like. Revenge of the Sith did inspire a lot of memes, by the way. But his facial expressions, especially when he turns to the dark side, when you see the fear, the anger, the heartbreak, the rage after he does certain stuff, whether it's taking down the separatists, he's marching to the Jedi Temple when he's about to kill the younglings. His facial expressions, to me, that's what I feel is more powerful about his performance than the line delivery. it's his facial expressions. He does such a great job. Although his line of yelling, "I hate you" to Obi-Wan before he goes on fire from the lava on Mustafar, that was a really powerful line delivery full of anger and rage. But Ian McGregor also does a great job as Obi-Wan as well. Best performance in the entire prequel trilogy, not just in this movie, but in the other movies as well. Ian McGregor as Palpatine, I'll say this. I used to make fun of his facial reactions, and this was before he became so disfigured after his fight with Mace Windu, and we saw his true form. But some of his facial expressions when he's talking to Anakin, just at first I thought they were just so funny and weird, but honestly, I think it just adds to a layer of strange awkwardness, weirdness, and creepiness that Palpatine is giving off that we, the audience, sees that's telling us, the audience, that, hey, this guy's definitely the Sith Lord. Doesn't help that every room that this guy seems to be in, whenever he's talking to Anakin, is basically screaming, "This is a Sith Lord," or "This would be the wallpaper or paint job of a Sith Lord's room." But yeah, no, Ian McDermott did very good as well. Although I don't like him fighting with a lightsaber, at least against Mace Windu. Him fighting Yoda looked fine, but him versus Mace Windu, I don't know. Mace looked fine. Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu as well, really good job as well. But I don't know. That was just my only lightsaber fight that I just didn't care for. All the other ones I thought were excellent. This was the only one that I was just like, not terrible, but it's just coming across as weird and awkward. But the thing that I think is also powerful about Revenge of the Sith is a lot of moments that aren't even within the action. The moment where Anakin and Palpatine are talking in this opera house, and Palpatine's like putting those seeds of doubt in Anakin, and Anakin, despite being disappointed and upset that he wasn't made a Jedi Master, despite being put on the council, he still believes that Jedi are the good guys and all that. And when Palpatine realizes that he's got to take a different approach, because Anakin, like, even though it's a slow build up to Anakin going to the dark side, it's not like, yeah, he's going right to the dark side. There's still like a little bit of pushback, a couple of things holding him back. But after that sequence, that's when Palpatine decides to tell Anakin about Darth Plagueis the Wise, and between the opera music playing in the background, around and just telling the story about how Darth Plagueis the Wise was able to save people from death. This is what gets Anakin's attention, and that's where you get to see more seeds of doubt. The facial expressions that these two men have during the scene, I feel like, is also powerful as well and says a lot. And Anakin's learning that, number one, the Jedi aren't as powerful as they seem to be, and number two, there's a power that can save Padme's life, and these are two seeds of doubt that are going into his head. These are two seeds that can start turning him to the dark side. The world building in this movie is incredible as well. We finally see Kashyyyk, Chewbacca's home planet. We see Chewbacca as well and other Wookiees. And I know there's going to be a criticism that people will have, which is was this necessary to have the Wookiees and Chewbacca? Honestly, I didn't mind it. I mean, the Clone Wars have been raging on through the galaxy. They're bound to reach other planets and species. It's like, would you rather have the Ewoks fight the droids? What did you expect? But I actually prefer them having the Wookiees in here. Here, was the character Chewbacca making an appearance necessary? Maybe, maybe not. But it was nice to see. I feel like it was more necessary than having 3PO being built by little kid Anakin and Phantom Menace. But another powerful moment in this movie as well is that sequence. It's like a nice, perfect calm before the storm moment. It's after Anakin tells Mace Windu that Palpatine is a Sith Lord. It's before Anakin makes his decision, right before. And outside of Coruscant, you see the sun setting. And this is the last time the sun is setting on the Republic, because we know stuff's going to go down. We see Padme looking out the window from their apartment. We see Anakin looking out the window from the Jedi Council chamber. They're so far away, but you can feel like they're seeing each other. And the score in the background, around this eerie feel that something's going to go wrong. Stuff's going to go down. You see Padme's fear that something feels wrong. Anakin's fear for Padme's life. And Anakin makes the toughest choice that's going to change the entire galaxy. But the one thing that I don't think gets talked about enough is just that the fact that the sun is setting on the Republic, and this is going to be the last time, because Anakin goes, saves Palpatine, cuts Mace Windu's hand, and Palpatine throws Mace Windu out the window with that Force lightning. And Anakin realizes his decision. And a lot of people will criticize this scene by saying that his turn to the dark side feels so rushed. But it's like, if you take the development of Anakin going to the dark side, the seeds of doubt that have been put into his head and all that, and then see that basically he sealed the deal by cutting Mace Windu's hand off, saving Palpatine and not stopping Palpatine from throwing Mace out the window. So, if anything, there's no turning back at this point for Anakin. He has chosen the life of Palpatine over Mace Windu, and by that he's basically saying that Palpatine's life is more valuable than any of the other Jedi, anyone else that's going to get killed by the Emperor, because he thinks Palpatine has this power to save Padme's life. So the Order 66 scene happens, and first of all, John Williams' score. This is probably my favorite piece of his from Star Wars, the Order 66, seeing Anakin march into the Jedi Temple with a clone army, and you're seeing the Clone Wars happening during all of this, seeing the Jedi and the clones taking down the droids. And 1 minute droids are happily working with the Jedi. How you see Commander Cody happily giving Obi-Wan his lightsaber back after he lost it during his fight with General Grievous. By the way, General Grievous, cool looking villain. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but he actually first appeared in the Cartoon Network 2003 cartoon. It was season 2, I'm pretty sure it was. That's when he first appeared. But once he gives the lightsaber back to Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan's going up, Cody gets the message of execute Order 66, and that's the confirmation for the clones to turn on the Jedi. And it's very heartbreaking to see all the clones turn on the Jedi. Yoda and Obi-Wan are the only survivors. First, we see Anakin take out the lightsaber on the younglings. We see Bail Organa feeling like something's off when he arrives at the Jedi Temple. He's horrified at seeing the clones shooting a youngling. When we get that epic speech from Palpatine about this being the first galactic empire, I think that was a really excellent scene as well. I feel like the sequence, while the action sequences are amazing, Lucas really improved on the non-action sequences where you have dialogue and characters are talking, or like there's just silent moments that he orchestrated so well. It's like he took the criticisms of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones to heart and really turned it up in this movie. So Obi-Wan and Yoda go to Jedi Temple. They find out that it was Anakin. Obi-Wan has to fight Anakin, and he's hesitant, doesn't want to kill him, but he's got to do what he's got to do. Anakin and uses the Force to choke Padme. They have their epic fight on Mustafar, and I don't care if it's choreographed or whatever. It looks excellent. I don't care if it lasted longer than it should have. It looks great. The Yoda Sidious fight also was great as well. Like I said before, all the lightsaber fights were great with the exception of the Windu Palpatine fight. But it looks great. Obi-Wan gets the higher ground, cuts Anakin's other arm and his legs off. And we have that powerful moment between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Obi-Wan's breaking down, saying, "You were the chosen one. You were my brother, Anakin." We see Anakin burning. It's really sad to see. And it just shows that Obi-Wan did have his own attachment, and it was Anakin. He loved Anakin like a brother. And Obi-Wan, while he wasn't perfect, was probably the one Jedi that understood Anakin the most. And again, there was a big convenience for Obi-Wan to not be there when the stuff goes down, because Obi-Wan probably could have understand Anakin's dilemma and could have maybe helped Anakin out. But end of movie, we see Darth Vader officially being born, even though he was given the name of Darth Vader back in Palpatine's office just before Order 66. But we see the official suit, and while that's happening, Luke and Leia are being born. Padme dies. But I think this was a great symbolism for George Lucas, having the official birth of Darth Vader in the mechanical suit, as well as Luke and Leia. And then we get that bridge to episode 3 and 4 where we see the Death Star being built. Luke and Leia being separated. And yeah, that's Revenge of the Sith. This movie to me has been one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my second favorite Star Wars movie behind Empire Strikes Back. It's not the perfect movie. I mean, there's a couple lines of dialogue that don't hit all that well, but the action, the emotion, the tragic story in it, I feel like Lucas really went all out on it. And it's not a surprise that this movie has made a lot of money with its re-release despite being out on DVD. I even have it on DVD right here for almost 20 years, being out on Blu-ray, being on TV so many times, being on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, or you can easily rent it for $3.99 on Amazon, people still went out and saw this movie. And 20 years later, Disney owns Star Wars now. We've gotten 5 Star Wars movies. And I don't want to go into a conversation on Disney Star Wars. There's some things from the movies I enjoyed. I like Force Awakens. I love Rogue One. I like Mandalorian, the show. I'm looking forward to the Mando Grogu movie next year as well. But it's just a reminder that it's not that people don't like Star Wars anymore. They still like Star Wars. But they love great Star Wars. And this to me feels like the last great Star Wars. Maybe it's because this was the last film George Lucas directed. He wasn't perfect, but I feel like with George Lucas, he had a vision, and this felt like a vision where a movie like Rise of Skywalker just felt like a rushed course correction, trying to undo the criticisms of The Last Jedi. And I feel like Revenge of the Sith is the perfect example of taking the criticisms of the previous movies, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, to heart and improving on that while at the same time keeping the vision you originally wanted. But yeah, overall, this had better acting than the previous prequel movies. And I know I said this is my second favorite Star Wars movie. Is it better than A New Hope? No, but I would say I get more enjoyment out of this than A New Hope. Maybe because I've seen this more times than New Hope. Maybe because this is the Star Wars movie that I grew up on. But yeah, overall with Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, it's 20 years of Star Wars greatness. And I'm glad to see that people have grown to love this movie. I mean, this movie's always had a positive response, but it seems like it's more loved now than ever. People love Hayden Christensen's performance. I never had a problem with Hayden Christensen's performance. I thought it was more about the dialogue that he was given that was the problem. But yeah, overall with Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to give this movie an A+. To me, this is peak top-notch Star Wars, and I hope one day we get back to this with Star Wars. I don't know if we ever will. I don't hate Disney Star Wars, like I said, but I have my criticisms of it, and I don't know, hopefully like it gets to that point. And yeah, I know I got a Hogwarts shirt on, not a Star Wars shirt on for this review. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. I'm going to give it an A+. And what are your thoughts on Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith? Have you seen it this weekend? Did you see it back in 2005? Have you watched it so many times throughout the years? What'd you think about it? And what's one of your favorite Star Wars movies? And which Star Wars movie do you want to see get a re-release in theaters? Let me know in the comments down below. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that loves Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.